Hey guys, in the last lesson, we learned 5 simple 4-note patterns to help you start navigating your pentatonics up and down your fretboard instead of just getting locked into the box shapes that everybody pretty much knows out there. In this lesson, we're going to take another look at something that's a little bit more common knowledge, and that's learn some shapes up the fretboard with the pentatonic scales. But after we learn these initial shapes, which some of you might know, I'm going to teach you a different way to play them, which gives you an entirely different feel that you might really dig. So let me show you the actual shape, and then we'll go through and learn the whole thing all the way up and down the fretboard, and then I'll show you the different way to play it. So these extended pentatonic scale shapes, something like this, if you start here on your G note, like we've been in the key of G this whole time, would look something like this. And you can find these shapes pretty much anywhere out there on the internet or in any guitar educational book. And just for your sake, if you don't know this shape, let me teach it to you real quick. And a pentatonic scale, 5-note scale, right? So we're just going to learn a real quick 5-note shape for this shape that we're going to move up the fretboard 3 times to cover pretty much the whole fretboard. Start with your index finger on this G note on the 3rd fret of the low E string. Play that note. Then play the 5th fret with your 3rd finger. Then what you're going to do is slide up from there to the 7th fret with that same 3rd finger. So altogether you have. From there, that's 3 notes, so we have 2 more to complete our pentatonic scale. Go over to the 5th fret of your A string with your index finger. And then the 7th fret of the A string with your 3rd finger. And for this lesson, that's really the only shape that you have to learn, just those 5 notes. Play the first 2 notes, slide up 2 frets, and then play the last 2 notes. So that's the first thing that you need to learn. Take some time, get that shape down. Until it's under your fingers really well and you're really familiar with it. Once you have that down, play it. And then there's another G right here. So we're just going to start on this G, play that exact same pattern to play our pentatonic scale up another octave. So start on the 5th fret of your D string with your index finger and play the exact same thing you just played, only you're going to be up 2 frets and you're going to start on the 5th fret of your D string. So 5th fret with your index finger of your D string, 7th fret with your 3rd finger, slide up 2 frets, then you go to the 7th fret of your G string with your index finger, and the 9th fret with your 3rd finger. So now you have a 2-octave pentatonic scale. Let's play that whole thing up and then back down real quick too. Here's the first one, here's the second one. So you can see this gets a really nice fluid feel that transitions you from one pentatonic shape to the next. And this time we're going to learn a 3rd octave that gets you from the 1st to the 2nd to the 3rd one. So you're really going to get some coverage here. What you're going to do is start on this G note on the 8th fret of the B string. And you're just going to play the same pattern again. So play the 8th fret with your index finger of your B string, then play the 10th fret with your 3rd finger, slide up to the 12th fret, then play over on your high E string, play your 10th fret with your index finger, and then your 3rd finger is going to grab the 12th fret of that high E string. So you can see how you just learned one 5-note pattern, but if you start on this G, start on the next G right there, start on the next G right here, it's really awesome because one pattern kind of evolves and transports you all the way from down here on the 3rd fret of the low E string, all the way up to the 12th fret of the high E string. Now, that's, like I said, it's really common knowledge and you can find that information anywhere. Now I want to teach you something that feels a little bit different. It almost feels like you're playing a modal scale or an arpeggio when you finger it the way that we're going to do it here. Instead of sliding, we're going to be stretching. So let me just play it for you and then I'll go through and explain exactly what my thought process was and how I was playing it. All right, so you can see I started out, instead of 1, 2, slide, I just stretched my hand out like I was fixing to play a G major scale. Right? I just played the first 3 notes with my first finger on the 3rd fret of the low E string, second finger on the 5th fret, third finger on the 7th fret. So that's a bit of a stretch. So that's your first 3 notes of your pentatonic scale. Then you have a big shift where you have to shift your index finger up to the 5th fret, play that note, and then play the 7th fret with your middle finger. And that's your whole shape again. Instead of playing this, we're playing this. And it's a big stretch and there's a big shift in there. It may take some time to get used to, but it's worth it when you can connect all 3 patterns together in one really cool run. Second octave, 3rd octave. So that's another really cool way to start navigating the fretboard with your pentatonics, and instead of being stuck in the same old shape over and over again. And let me just give you an example of how you can use this to make kind of some random licks. So that gives you a nice feel and a nice vibe that sounds really pentatonic, but it doesn't necessarily feel like it in your left hand. It's really cool. Check it out, play with it as much as you can. So as you can see, learning shapes like this in a way that's not necessarily a traditional pentatonic feel is a really cool way to start navigating your fretboard better up and down instead of playing just regular box-shaped patterns. Now, don't forget to look below. The tabs for this exact shape that I just played all the way up and down the fretboard will be available to you, and really work on the shape and playing like this. Because in the next lesson, we're going to use this idea in conjunction with a new idea to come up with a longer, a little bit more complex lick for you guys.